thing it says to do is to build this rectangular prism with your cubes. So go ahead and do that now. Okay, so for Isaiah and anyone else that was gone, let's show them what we mean about the slices of bread and all that, okay? So the first thing I want to do is I want to label this one bread. Okay? And then do you remember how I used my highlighter to show the layers? So you're just going to have to wait for me to finish that, okay? So slices of bread, and I always think of like my mom's homemade wheat bread that she makes in her bread maker, and it's so yummy. And she slices it like on a cutting board or something. Or this could even be like when you buy a loaf of bread at the store, it's sliced like this, okay? So how many layers then do you see right now?
6.
Might count those again. No, that's right. 6. So 6 layers. How many are in each layer?
4.
1, 2, 3, 4. So 6 times 4 is?
24.
Now I want to talk about something here before we move on, okay? So volume is length times width times height, correct? That's 3 dimensions, but I only see 2 dimensions here. Why is that? Any ideas? Go ahead.
It's where the picture's taken, so it's...
Well, what are my measurements here?
6, 4,
6,
6, 2, and 2.
2, and 2. So length times width times height. Which one did we solve in our head to get this one right here?
Height and length. Height and width.
2 times 2. We did in our heads, didn't we? So that's where the 6 times 4 came from. The 4 was actually too wide and too tall. Okay, got that part? All right, now how do I draw this? Well, the best way to do 6 is to divide it in half. And then you're going to put 2 lines on each side of the half. And then what number will I write on each slice?
2.
Good try.
4.
4. Because we're going to do 2 times 2 in our head. Okay, so that's the slices of bread. Now the next one, let's see if I can get this to erase. The next one is the Subway. And the Subway, when you go in and you order like a 6-inch or a 12-inch, they take the knife and they kind of turn the knife at a strange angle and cut it in half, don't they? And when they cut it that way, it kind of freaks me out because I'm afraid they're going to cut themselves. Anybody else? They're getting better. I mean, they probably practice it quite a bit because they do so many a day. But anyway, so this is, I'm going to slice it horizontally. Okay? So how many layers do you see now? 2 layers. So that's this 2 right here. How many in each layer?
4.
No.
12.
12! Where'd you get the 12? 6 times 2 is 12. Very good. And those are the 2 dimensions that we hadn't used yet. Plus, we already know that 12 times 2 is 24, right? Because we know our 12s. Definitely. Okay, so this is how I slice this one. What's this one called? Subway. And that's how you slice it. Okay, and how many in each layer?
12.
All right. So the next one is the hot dog bun. And a hot dog bun is cut where?
Between the top and
Yeah, so it's sliced down the top, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the hot dog bun will be slicing down the top. And How many layers is that? 2 layers. But this time the 2 is right here. It's the width. Okay? So what is the total amount in each layer? 12. And that's 24 cubic centimeters. Okay? Here's how you slice the hot dog. And it's hard. So just do your best. And then, do you remember last week I told you could just like draw an arrow to the layers if you can't fit the 12 in there? Okay, we good? All right. All right, let's scroll down and see what we've got. This time you need to build this figure for B. And I'm going to pause it while you build it. Okay, so the first way I sliced it was the bread slices. Okay? And so how many layers do you see? I actually already colored that one in for you. 4 layers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? 4 layers. How many are in each layer? 6. Very good. So this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. Got that? Okay. So 4 times 6. Do we have the same volume as we did before? Yes. Okay. So this is how I will slice the bread. So go ahead and mark that one. And how many in each layer? 6. Okay, now the Subway. This is kind of more like a club sandwich. That's what Micah thought anyway. So the Subway, remember, is going horizontally through the rectangular prism. And so it's actually not just 2 layers this time. How many? 3 layers. Okay. So when I do these 3 layers, that's why Micah said it was kind of like a club sandwich, because club sandwich has 3 pieces of bread. Okay. So how many layers? 3. Okay, so that takes care of this number right here, this 3. So how many are in each layer?
6.
8. Okay. And is 3 times 8 24?
Yes.
So that makes perfect sense. Okay. So when we slice this one, let's do the front first. And get 3 layers. That was pretty bad. Let me try that again. There we go. All right, now what number goes on each layer?
8.
Very good. Okay, now for the hot dog bun. So that one's going to be sliced down the top. So if I slice it down the top, which one of these dimensions, the 4, the 2, or the 3, is the number of layers?
2.
The 2, okay. So then that leaves how many in each layer? How many?
12.
12. 4 is 4 times 3 12?
Yes.
And 2 times 12 is 24. Okay. So the hot dog looks like that. And what should I write on each layer? 12. Okay, how are we doing?
Good.
Pretty good? Okay. So let's go ahead and look at the next page. Don't worry about your cubes, just leave them there for right now, but you don't need them. Okay, so this is a pretty good problem actually. When I first read it, I read it too fast, and I actually, in block 1, I thought that I got the answer wrong. I'm just going to tell you that right now, because I read it too fast. So we're slowing down and we're going to read it carefully. Josh and Jonah were finding the volume of the prism to the right. The boys agree that 4 layers can be added together to find the volume. Josh says that he can see on the end of the prism that each layer will have 16 cubes in it. And I think that's this end right here, okay, because it's 4 by 4. And Jonah says that each layer has 24 cubes in it. And I think Jonah is looking at the top or the front, because those both have 24. Okay? So what I think we should do is draw what each boy said, and then let's see who's right. Sound good? Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to draw a cube. So what you need to do is make a rectangle. Everybody make a rectangle, and you're going to need, you got to make it bigger than that, Dusty, because we're gonna like put the slices of bread and all that on it, okay? All right, now this is your upper left corner. All right, so you're gonna put the width of the cube going back toward the upper left corner. So start with a rectangle, then draw the width, and then you can put on the back of it. How's that look? Somewhat okay?
Yeah.
Somewhat okay, and I'm going to erase that little. All right, now if you're me and you're lucky, hopefully I can duplicate this thing. But you're going to need 2 of them, one for Josh and one for Jonah. How's that? Okay, so I'm going to pause it while you get those drawn. Right.
Then 3 years later.
Okay, let's look at this. So Josh, let's call this one Josh. He said there's 4 layers and that there's 16 in each layer. And I was looking at this, and Josh is thinking of the slices of bread. You agree? Because he said there's 16 in each layer. So that would be 4 times 16. And what is the total volume here?
64.
64. Good. Cubic centimeters. Don't forget your label, please. Okay. So how are we doing? And then Jonah, we'll put his name over here. I think he was slicing it the Subway way. That'll be easier than the hot dog way. So he said there's 4 layers, but how many did he say were in each layer? Look at your problem.
4.
4 layers with how many?
24.
24 in each layer. Okay. So that's 4 layers of 24. Now, one of these boys is right. What's the answer to that? What's 4 days? How many hours in 4 days?
48.
No, that's 2 days.
24 hours. 72.
No, that's 3 days.
88. 24 hours? 90.
96, I think.
Wait. Huh? Wait, what?
Yeah.
80. Yeah.
80 plus 16, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 96.
Okay, so Jonah says the total's 96 and Josh says the total's 64. Who's right?
One of them.
I know, I gotta figure out which one it is.
You
You might want to look at the original figure.
Jonah.
Why do you say Jonah?
I don't know.
Well, let's shade this Josh's way.
Jonah's wrong. Jonah's right.
Let's shade it Josh's way and see.
Yeah, Jonah's right.
Okay, why do you say Jonah instead of Josh, Aaron?
Because where did the 4 come from in Josh's?
Well, they both agreed that it was 4 layers added together.
Yeah,
So
but
what mistake did Josh make?
He didn't add. Wait.
So this is what Josh was thinking, but he didn't think it through. It's like me this morning. Kyle?
I think Josh is right because there's 16 on this side, and he might have. Oh, never mind. I know. Well,
Okay, so what mistake did Josh make?
Josh just counted one side, the side nearest to him, probably, and he didn't count the faces.
He didn't count the layers,
Right.
did he?
Mm-hmm.
How many layers should Josh have had? 6. And how many did he have?
4.
So is 6 times 16 the same thing as 4 times 24?
No.
Yes.
We need to figure it out.
Yes.
Let's figure it out.
6 times 16.
16 times 6. See if that. Oh, yeah, it totally is. Okay, so Jonah is right. Now we're going to skip this next one, so just put an X through it.
Oh.
And we're going to go down to the bottom one. It's going to help you prepare for your exit ticket a little bit. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. You don't need your cubes anymore for the rest of the day. So try not to touch. No, we're not going to take time to clean them up. Just don't touch them. Okay, it says, imagine the rectangular prism below is 6 meters long, 4 meters tall, and 2 meters wide. Go ahead and draw that. Or label it. And these are meters, aren't they? Okay, it says, draw horizontal lines to show how the prism could be decomposed into layers that are 1 meter in height. So which way is horizontal?
Up and down.
No.
No,
Side to side, just like the horizon. Okay?
Horizontal.
And it says, draw horizontal lines to show how it can be decomposed into layers. So this, what type is this?
Red.
Subway. Because we're slicing it horizontally. How many layers do I need horizontally?
4.
Where'd you get the 4?
Because
Four's
it's
the length.
4 is the height.
And it's 1 meter cubes.
That's right. So very good. So we're going to need 4 going this way. And then so it has 4 layers. And then I wonder how I figure out the total number of cubes in each layer. Ashley, do you know? Well, I've got 3 dimensions, and 4 is one of them. Okay? So who remembers? I told you on the other side. Kyle?
You multiply 6 times 2, the width and the...
Good. So the total number in each layer is the last 2 dimensions. Okay? So 4 times 12, because we know our 12s. What's the
48.
Who looked?
Me.
I know, I saw it. Okay, so 48 cubic centimeters. All right, now I'm going to get you started on your exit ticket and then you can finish it. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's turn to the exit ticket. Please put your name on this if you haven't already. You're really going to have to read through these carefully, okay? So the first one says use unit cubes to build the figure to the right and fill in the missing information. Now, do you see how you have 1 and I have 3?
Yeah.
That's because I'm going to remind you what the bread, the Subway, and the hot dog bun really mean, okay? So with my highlighter, the bread would be like this. And here in a minute, I'm going to have you take out either 2 colored pencils or 2 highlighters, but not yet. So the bread would be like this. The Subway would be that horizontal cut. Slice it that way. And the hot dog would look like that. Okay? So what you'll do is you'll choose one of these. And you'll complete the blanks over to the left. And don't do it now. Later. Okay? But you'll choose either the bread, the Subway, or the hot dog. You'll shade your cube like that. You're going to use colored pencils or highlighters, okay? And then you'll fill in these blanks. Sound good? Okay, now let's go down to number 2 because it's a little tricky and I kind of want to give you a little bit of help. So it says the prism measures 3 units by 4 units by 2 units. So this has to be, whoops, writing with a highlighter. This has to be the 4. This has to be the 3, and this is the 2. So go ahead and label it. And then it says exactly everything you need to know. There are 4 layers. So which way will I slice this? No.
Vertical. Subway. Bread.
Bread. Bread. And what number will I write on each slice?
6.
6. And how did I get the 6?
Yeah.
The length times, well, actually the length times the height, right?
And
But the other 2 dimensions.
And it says it.
And it says it over there. Okay, so can you finish this exit ticket?
Yes, I can.
I know you can.